Hello everyone, I trust you're having a beautiful day. Today I'm going to be sharing with you more about Iboga plant medicine. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you an interview that took place in Costa Rica at Iboga Wellness Center with Levi Barker, the Iboga provider there. I myself have been through 2 retreats at Iboga Wellness Center and I cannot recommend the experience more. It has been absolutely life-changing, probably the most powerful, transformative thing I've ever done, and I've done quite a few of those. But in today's interview with Levi, I'm specifically asked him to share about some of the myths around Iboga. I know for myself personally, before I arrived at Iboga Wellness Center and took part in the ceremonies, there was a few myths that were circulating in my mind, such as, is Iboga solely for people who are addicts? Is Iboga going to be way too extreme or way too scary for me? And in this interview, Levi goes into detail about some of these myths around the medicine and what's actually fact around Iboga and the experience of going through an Iboga ceremony. So without further ado, let's get started.
We're going to talk about some of the myths of Iboga and some of the perceptions out there. Even among well-versed plant medicine people, there's the perception that Iboga is like the most out there of the medicines, and the reality is it's the most grounding of the medicines. And people definitely think that Iboga is like this last resort tool to make it happen for themselves, when in reality it's for everybody. People that are suffering, but also people that are doing well in life and just want more. I feel like there's a little piece in there that they're missing inside. And so a lot of people that come here aren't coming, say, for their last resort tool to get things back, and are using Iboga as a tool to move forward and just live a fuller life. And that's what we all want when we get down to it, is to live a full, happy life. Like, this is our shot to do it, and so we do need to make the most of it. And yeah, it definitely has the perception that people are going to be really out of their body, not aware of what's going on during the experience, and that's typically not the case. I mean, people can go very deep and go into, you know, the energetic spirit world, but then say we speak to them, people know who they are, where they're at, what's going on around them. So I wouldn't expect to just be unaware of what's happening and in zero control of the experience itself. People also have the perception that Iboga is solely, say, a mind medicine, that's what people go to Iboga for. And the mind is a big part of being a human, and it definitely does go into the mind, very much cleans the mind, but it also physically heals the brain. So say if people were on SSRIs or something like that, it can be very healing for them, or long-term medication that they recently got off of can very much bring their brain back into baseline, where they feel a healthy mind and brain again. And people also come for physical healing, and everybody's going to react to that in a different way, and we have to be careful saying, oh yeah, this is going to heal your Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis or something like that. Although in a very high percentage of cases it is beneficial for those things. And so part of having a disease like that is the mind-body connection, and having some serious disease definitely affects the mind in a deep way. And so how we perceive that pain, how we work with it, can be really beneficial. But no doubt Iboga also has its own physical healing properties in it. It's definitely a very strong antiviral. You know, I've had a lot of people come through and heal Lyme disease and the remnants of Lyme disease, which has just a huge amount of different symptoms that people get from Lyme. You know, people with car injuries, chronic pain, sports injuries, things like scoliosis as well. I've had a lot of people come through, and so there is very deep physical healing properties with Iboga. And so yeah, it's not just for the mind, although that is a big part of the healing that happens. And really what happens with Iboga is it really heals deeply on all 3 levels that we are as humans: mind, body, and soul. And in order to live a good life, feel in balance, we really need all of those things working together in unison, and Iboga definitely gives us that. So a lot of people have this idea that Iboga is just for addicts as well, which of course it's really good at helping addicts overcome addiction. But you know, there's many other addictions as well in life. So people have come through the years for things like anorexia, bulimia. Some people have problems with porn or sex, and so addiction all comes from the same place. And you know, Iboga is the only thing on earth that does help opiate addicts ease their withdrawals. But Iboga, through the years, and we've seen it a lot, is just as good at helping people overcome, you know, all these labels that we get in the West, like depression, PTSD, anxiety. One of the most difficult things that can happen to us when we're young is sexual abuse. And so we've had many people come through the years for sexual abuse and be able to move through that. And that's something that, you know, with other medicines can take quite a long time. And Iboga, you can really overcome that. And it's going to be work from there and understanding our past, but people can come to terms with it and not allow it to affect, you know, their present moment and the relationships that they're in from that time. And so Iboga is really good for all these other things that we have to deal with as humans. And really, when it gets down to it, Iboga is the teacher about life. And so when we're coming to Iboga, it's really learning how to live life, regardless of the experiences we've had. That's what we're coming to do. And so Iboga is very much a teacher of the mind, and being able to connect with the mind without having it just overrun us. Obviously, like I mentioned, it cleanses the body on a very deep level. And in the end, as we work through this process, our own soul or spirit comes back into us. And that's what we know in the Bwiti, that, you know, our soul is our guide in life, and we have to be connected with that to make the right decisions for ourselves. I'm sure we can all think of times when we let the mind take over everything, and all the decision making comes from the mind, and life becomes difficult that way. So being able to reconnect with that intuition and that guide inside is a very important part about Iboga and being here. A lot of people have this idea that Iboga is really dangerous, and you know, we do need to make sure somebody has a good heart. You know, even with some things like blood pressure medication can be accepted, but you know, people with arrhythmias need to be really careful. But beyond that, without any major conditions, Iboga is generally safe. So a lot of times when the physical problems, emergencies happen, they happen with addicts at a detox clinic, detoxing up many times just mass amounts of drugs. Their body is already in rough shape, and things come up. With a psycho-spiritual experience like we do here, we do need to make sure people are healthy, of course, but if they are, it's really not a dangerous thing. And we can definitely see the benefits on people afterwards, just their stress levels. For people over 30, they typically look younger after the retreat. A lot of the body pain, aches that people carry around with them, you know, are eased or removed completely. And so if you go through the proper screening for Iboga, then it's really not a dangerous thing. And we've had our oldest woman that's come here has been 84. And so we have to be careful with the dosing on that, and that's why it's really important to get the dosing right. That's another misconception, and one that, say, a lot of the Ibogaine clinics get wrong, is they do dose you based on your body weight, where the reality is that we all react to the medicine in a different way, or our sensitivity to the medicine really varies a lot. And so sometimes when people will come, well, I weigh this much, so you know, I need this amount of root bark or this amount of total alkaloid extract. But that's really not the way to do it, and why it's important to work with people that have seen this and been around it a lot, because there's times when you can take really large amounts of medicine and the mind can be quiet, especially for people that are usually very, very active in their mind and let their mind completely lead them. Iboga can be like, hey, you need to calm the mind. And so a lot of the symptoms where we can tell people are at happen in the physical body. One of the big ones is their balance. Also, how warm a person is can give us a good idea of where they're at in the experience. But everybody here gets a different dose based on getting to know them, intuition, experience of working with the medicine, and then we step them up from there. And so it really doesn't have anything to do with how big you are, male or female. Although I will say that people that are closer to indigenous roots are typically more sensitive to the medicine.
All right, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed learning from Levi today all about the myths around Iboga. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, I myself have been to Iboga Wellness Center twice, and I've also spent some time supporting in ceremonies there. I can't recommend the experience more. You are truly in the best hands, and it is such a powerful, potent medicine that will truly take you to the next level in your life. So if you're interested in attending Iboga ceremonies or learning more about the medicine, I'll be leaving this entire series that I've created down below to answer any of your questions and share more. And I'll also be leaving the link to Iboga Wellness Center down below as well. Wishing you all the beauty, abundance, and love on your journey, and I'll be seeing you again soon. Bye!